Hello, everyone. I just opened up the webinar. Thank you for joining. We will get started shortly. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and share the slides with you all. Let's see. And then if you would like, feel free to say hello and where you're from. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Oh, hey, Belinda. Thank you for joining. All right, so while we're waiting for some people to join, if you want to get started, I will just quickly go in here. You can create a Wikipedia account if you don't already have one, and you can go to wikipedia.org, and then in the top right of any page, there will be a create account link. So you can go ahead and create your account. And then I guess a couple things before we get started. If you need captioning for this webinar, so unfortunately Demio doesn't have a captioning service yet, but we've flagged it up to them because we think accessibility is really important. But in the meantime, if you need captioning, there is a free tool that you can try. I just put a little pop-up in your webinar. It's called Web Captioner, and you just open up in a tab, and it will listen to your computer audio and do the transcription for you. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll bring the screen up again later. But thank you so much for joining the Wikipedia Edit-a-thon, Amplifying Women in Tech. This is part of the Amplify series I'm running at Zero Height. I am Michelle Chin. You can find me on Twitter at soysaucechin. I am a design advocate at Zero Height. And let's get started. So little housekeeping first. I just mentioned the web captioner tool. If you need captioning, this is a good service in lieu of our platform not having captioning. And we hope that they have captioning someday soon. And a little bit of background. This Amplify series stems from the Howie document report, which is a annual report that we do on the state of design systems and design system documentation. So Zero Height is a design system documentation platform. And we asked a couple demographic questions this year just to get a sense for who all is in the design system world. And it turns out that it is not as diverse. And Amplify is one of the ways that we are trying to change that. So if you would like to read the Amplify or the Howie document report, you can definitely download a copy, scan the QR code, lots of good information about design systems, the people who make up design system teams, designers, engineers, that type of stuff. But we also have some of the demographic information there. And then I have Dan Donnell, another design advocate here, who's helping out answering questions. If you have any questions or have trouble with anything, please reach out to him and he can assist you. Lastly, I guess the big thing, don't be a jerk. We have no problem removing you if you are not being a nice person. But for the most part, everyone here is really nice. And I think especially this crowd, since you are all interested in making a difference in Wikipedia and amplifying women in tech. All right. So wanted to also announce that we are hosting a one-day design system conference in real life in San Francisco. We have an amazing lineup with Brad Frost, Sarah Veselov, Val Head, Jerry Reed, Adekunle Oduye, and Luke Murphy. And Sarah and Val have written books on design systems and UX animation, respectively. They don't have Wikipedia pages, but hopefully that will change today. If you would like more information, you can go to this website, or I'm just going to push this little pop up here if you wanted to learn more about the Converge conference. All right. Today, we'll talk a little bit about what today is about. We'll go over some editing top tips. We'll talk about how to edit an article. I'll walk you through like what that looks like, and then we'll also make some edits. So half of this is kind of like a little intro, and then like the rest of it, it's like a working session. And I'm happy to answer questions as we go along. Feel free to put questions in the chat if you have any. Okay, so what's today about? So we are celebrating Women's History Month, which is all of March, and International Women's Day was March 8th, and they had a theme this year called Embrace Equity, which I think is really great. For me, it means, you know, equity sometimes is hard to come by, and I think, you know, it's easier to look the other way, but really we really need to embrace that equity and kind of you know, really embrace kind of the challenges and struggles that getting equity can present. So that's part of what today is about, is addressing the gender gap on Wikipedia. So some facts for you all, that 1 in 10 editors for Wikipedia identify as women, so not many. And then for women's biographies on Wikipedia that are in English, in 2014, that represented about 15% of biographies that were about women. Fast forward to 9 years later, that is only 19%. So we have not come very far, which was surprising to me. So for context, that is equivalent to about 374,000 out of the 1.92 million biographies on Wikipedia. So there's quite a gap, and if it helps, I kind of reverse these statistics so you can see that 9 in 10 editors identify as men. So the men's biography on Wikipedia in English, it's 85% in 2014. Now it's 81%, and that's like 1.5 million biographies on men. So there's quite a disparity in Wikipedia content when it comes to women biographies. So you might be thinking, why does it matter? It's just Wikipedia. But you know what? Wikipedia is an information source for so many of our devices and us. So Google search results are populated with scraping Wikipedia. AI, which is a very big thing right now, is trained with information from Wikipedia. So when they're not getting the information from Wikipedia, they're probably not getting it at all, which is a little scary because that just means women and their accomplishments become invisible. So today we're here to change that. We are going to create and edit Wikipedia pages for women in tech, specifically around design and UX, engineering, and data. So many of our accomplished women don't have Wikipedia pages. All right. So I will go over some editing top tips, and then if you have questions along the way, feel free to put it in the chat. Let's see. Okay. So Wikipedia has a lot of policies, and if you ever go to Wikipedia and you see these shortcuts, WP:/LOP, these are just like the shortcuts to get you to the page that has more information. So Wikipedia has a neutral point of view where all sides can agree. There's more details on that. Notability, so significant independent sources on a person. So Wikipedia wants to make sure that we're including people who are significant, and that they are significant, validated by independent sources. So even if your mom thinks you're really important, and that's great because you are really important to her, we want to make sure that people that are Wikipedia have importance and significance outside of their families. So that's why we're starting with authors today. And then verifiability is very important to Wikipedia. So they want to make sure references for the statements and information provided is coming from a reliable source. So reliable sources are like publications, book publishers, articles from like reliable papers, that type of thing. So no original research. So it's not something that, like, if I have a personal blog about myself and I create a Wikipedia page about myself, that I kind of cite my own website. Like that's not really, that's kind of like original research or original perspective, and that's not what they're looking for. I think with Wikipedia, the intent is to always assume good faith that we're all trying to help make Wikipedia better, not that we're trying to do anything bad. So we might try to do something what we intend is good, but we might accidentally make an error, which is okay. I think the other thing is they want to make sure we're avoiding conflicts of interest. So strongly discourage from editing affected articles directly. So maybe if I saw something, if I had a Wikipedia article and I saw something that was incorrect, I wouldn't go in and change my own Wikipedia article. Or if I work for the company, or if I was best friends with somebody and saw that there was like something that needed to be changed, even if it was correct, the way you would go about that is like reaching out to someone saying, hey, you know, this is incorrect, and kind of citing a source you wouldn't edit directly. So that kind of avoids the conflict of interest. All right. Okay. So a little bit more on reliable sources, because we'll be using reliable sources today. Acceptable sources, scholarly articles, of course, published books, publishers as well, news articles from reputable sources like the San Francisco Chronicle. And then I think for our situation, because tech is a little different, while the blogs and podcasts and stuff might not be as renowned across the world globally, they might be renowned within our industry. So if there's any blogs or episodes from reputable organizations like Adobe or UX Podcast, that's totally an acceptable source. You definitely want to avoid self-published sources like personal sites, LinkedIn profiles. Self-published books don't count. I learned that the hard way. I was trying to create a citation of someone who wrote a book, but I didn't realize it was self-published. And then I got got that edit vetoed, which is okay. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I think the news articles from niche sources, so if they don't seem as credible, like that could be a little suspicious. Sponsored content, obviously, if it's marketing towards something, you want to avoid that. Personal websites, and then op-eds from reputable sources. So if someone is saying something from an op-ed point of view, we want to treat that carefully, even if it's from the New York Times or something. Okay, so I think the big thing is like, it seems really intimidating to edit Wikipedia, but you'll get the hang of it. I at one time was very afraid and very stressed out, and I got the hang of it. So I think the other thing is that they also created a better editor that's easier to use, so you don't have to like look at the actual source code, which was definitely very intimidating. So also, big thing, don't get discouraged if your edits are rejected or reverted. You can often find out why and learn. So for example, like I mentioned, I tried to put in a book about information architecture and didn't realize it was self-published. And so that that edit got rejected, but it was helpful for me to understand. We also have a sandbox in our Wikipedia accounts that we can use as a safe space to practice and create articles. You can create full articles there, send it to someone for review, and they can review it and give you feedback before you publish it out into the real world. So there is a lot of room for learning and flexibility, and you don't have to all of a sudden write grandiose Wikipedia articles. You can definitely start small, and I highly encourage that. And we'll talk about that when we get to the demo part. But wanted to highlight some great areas that that you can edit, especially if you're a beginner. So you want to edit the lead section. So this is that little intro here for the person. This is typically what people read first if they're going to read something. This is also what appears in search results. And as you can see, Julie has like a tiny paragraph, so it can definitely use some amplification to make it more robust so people can determine whether they want to continue reading or not. Another area to edit is adding links. So if you see these blue links here, that means that there is a link to a Wikipedia page that the person can go to. So it's really nice if you can find things to link in a Wikipedia article, and that's really easy to do. You don't have to write anything. All you're doing is like helping build a more robust Wikipedia, and you can create links to articles that exist or articles that need to be written. So anything that needs to be written will show up as a red link, which means that it doesn't have content yet, but can be written. Another great area is the category section, which usually happens at the bottom of the page. This is just adding categories to help with like some taxonomy, as well as getting the person on the categories list. And I think like categories seem kind of silly because like there's a category of living people and you know, Stanford University alumni, business people from Texas. Yeah, so there's lots of different categories that you can tie someone to help them be discovered. And then another great area is fixing grammar mistakes and typos. So this helps with readability, but also makes your English teacher very, very proud. So in this example, this is the name of a book and it just needed to be italicized. So stuff like that is really easy, an easy, nice way to like ease into editing Wikipedia. All right. The other aspect is adding content. So that's kind of like the heart of contributing to Wikipedia. And you want to contribute information from reliable sources to really improve the article. So this is Dana Chisnell's Wikipedia page. She's written a book with Jeffrey Rubin and has Jared Spool did the foreword. So this person had contributed this information from this website. So you basically are transferring information into Wikipedia from a reliable source. And since this is from the actual book publisher itself, it's considered a reliable source. All right. And then let's see. Another area is like the info box. So I'm sure people have seen this info box. You can also edit that. A lot of times you can put like some of the information that you find in Wikipedia already, or in addition to the articles, you can put it in the info box just to add some more information for scannability. Okay, let's see. Just checking to see if there's any questions. And then other areas, external links are also a great link to add. It's pretty easy to do, low level lift. So you want to put like links to official websites, but not social media pages like their Twitter or their Instagram account. And so we'll jump into the how we edit aspect. The first thing you want to do is create your account. So if you go to wikipedia.org, any page at the top right, there's a button or a link to create an account. You can just fill that out. And then you can visit our project page. Oops. I'm just going to copy this link here and put it in the chat so you can, hopefully that link worked. Yeah. You can go to the page. There is a lot in the page. But let's see, let me jump to it really quick. Okay, here's our page. If you would like, you are welcome to sign up and just hit edit and then add your username. You can follow this syntax. It's not really in the nice UI, but that's okay. But this is all, there's some more information that I've kind of just talked about, but articles to edit. So I broke it into women in design systems, women in UX, in engineering, and data science. Articles to create. So all of these lovely women don't have Wikipedia pages. We won't get to all of them today, unfortunately, but I do plan on working and chipping away at this, this project quite frequently this year. So if you are interested in helping contribute, you can contribute on your own. I might have some additional sessions, working sessions if people just want to hang out and chat and edit. But basically each of the women here have written a book, and I found just like resources that are that have information about them or that have an interview with them that we can use to create their article or to create their entry, and then also to make their entry more robust. So okay, there is a question. If we start working on an area, is there a way to know if we are conflicting with someone else working on the same one? That I'm not sure about. But I feel like they would, Wikipedia is smart and maybe knows. They know, I know they can you can see like view, like I guess like history of things, and then you can kind of compare revisions. So that might be a way to see, but I don't know. I don't know, Dan, if you have a minute to look that up, if you can see if Wikipedia is smart. But that is a great comment. Oh, thank you, Dan. Okay, let's jump back to the presentation. Okay, let's see. So after you sign up, I want to make sure you have the visual editor. So the visual editor looks like when you hit, not that one, let's go to my sandbox. So this is my sandbox. To get to your sandbox, you just go to your top right corner and click on your avatar and then click sandbox. And this is like your safe space, and they just kind of tell you, hey, here's your safe space. You want to edit below. I started an article on Sarah Veselov, who wrote a book on design systems. So this is the edit view. Let me go back to, just go back to my regular sandbox. This is kind of what it looks like out not in edit view. Like typical any other Wikipedia article, you can hit edit and you'll get the nice visual editor. This is what Wikipedia used to look like beforehand when you used to edit the old-fashioned way. So big input field and lots of fun syntax stuff. But let's go back to this one with a much better user experience. Okay. So, oh, okay. Thank you. That is interesting that you couldn't see. Sorry. All right, let me try again. Okay. All right. So, sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. I guess the big thing is to go to your sandbox. This is what it looks like when you're not editing. And this is what any Wikipedia article looks like when you're not editing. Click edit. It will show you the edit view, which looks very much like the actual page itself. And then that's what's important. Make sure you have this visual editor. If you don't have the visual editor, there are steps to make sure that there's information on how to turn it on. So I will share this link in the chat. So you have this information in case. And then if that doesn't work, you can always append this VE action equals edit to the end of the URL to put it in edit mode with the visual editor. Okay, so let's do some editing. You are welcome to start editing if you want to. If you're really excited about it, you can watch me edit. And this is kind of like a little walkthrough of what I will be doing. And yeah, let's begin. And if there's any questions, feel free to post it in the into the chat. And let's see, we'll be tracking also just the changes in general of like what we're doing in Wikipedia. I have to set up a dashboard, but we'll track all that information on this very lengthy page title that I made. But this is a shortcut, WP:/AMP-WIT, which stands for Women in Technology. All right, so let's get to editing. All right, so let's do some basics. Like we'll fix some typos. So I was at Julie's page earlier and noticed that there were some typos. Now I feel like I can't find it anymore. maybe it wasn't Julie's page. Maybe it was, okay, yeah, it was Dana's page. So in this one, it's really tiny, but I'll blow this up too. Okay. So I just want to edit because I noticed that this parentheses is italicized, doesn't need to be. There's a space between the ISBN number and the parentheses and here as well. So these are really, really minor edits. If you see something like this, you are more than welcome to fix it. I will unitalicize that. They also have keyboard shortcuts too. Take out the spaces and I'm editing, which is exciting. So let's see. I think the other thing is in the way of like formatting authors, usually you follow like MLA, but I think it's as long as you're consistent is what matters. So I think should be like Ruben, comma, Jeffrey, and then you list out so after you make your changes, you can make small changes, you can make big changes, but you can go ahead and publish. They'll ask you what you changed, and so all you do is write a brief summary. So for here, I would just say like, you know, fixed some grammar typos. This is a minor edit, which just helps people, if they're following this article, know that you just kind of made a minor edit versus like adding a lot of content. So that was like the basics of editing and fixing a typo. Does anyone have any questions? Let's see if there's questions. Okay. All right, let's go into adding a link. So I think what is really good is, let's see, so Cooper Hewitt Museum and Smithsonian Design Museum are actual places. So we can add links to that. And all you do is highlight the text you want to create a link for, either hit the link button or Command K. And then what Wikipedia will do is that like it will look through Wikipedia to see if they have an article already. If they have the article, they'll say, hey, you know, we have this article, you can click it, it adds a link automatically. If you want to add a link to something that doesn't have an article, this is one that I did last time when I was just practicing. You can remove this, but Whitney is also an author, has a lot of really great resources, has made a lot of good contributions to the US voting system, I guess, and like civic design in general. She doesn't have a Wikipedia page yet, so it'll just tell you she doesn't have a Wikipedia page yet. But that's okay, because hopefully after this project is done, she will have a Wikipedia page. So this is what it looks like when you link to a page that doesn't exist yet. So you can just go ahead and like continue to find things that might benefit from having links. So Harvard Kennedy School is another place, added a link, and then go ahead and publish changes. So added links to items in the and then if you want to cite a reference, that's easy too. They make it really easy to do. So let's see if I can find something to cite. We'll just, okay. So in this article on Julie, she mentions, I think it's this article here. So a lot of times I'll find articles by doing a Google search, and then I'll look for their name. Usually in professionally written articles, I'll mention the first name once, but then they'll go and refer to them by their last name. So definitely search for their last name. So in this article, she mentions that she was 22 years old when she first negotiated a raise, and that what was her job title, and so it was her first job at Facebook. In May of 2006, Zhao became the first intern at Facebook. And so we can edit that and just mention that it was Rich was also her first job. Okay, so you want to add a reference, and then I'm just going to put the cursor here, insert template, I think it's this one. Oh wait, it's this one. Citation. So what's really nice is that you can just copy the URL and then paste the URL Like you can also do this manually too, but they made this very nice. So it will go through the article, find all the information. You can hit insert. So the other thing is like, if sometimes when it scrapes this, it's not really, doesn't do a really great job. So you can go ahead and edit. So then sometimes like it will pull something like a Twitter link or an Instagram name. So you just want to like make sure that the name is written there. So full date when the source was published, if known. So it didn't add that here. So we can look and see that it was April 2nd, 2019. So we'll just add that. We'll pull some information and you just hit apply changes. So it put the date in there and then it will be listed on the references at the bottom. So it's very automatic. And then you go ahead and publish changes. Added info about her first job. Okay. So there you go. That's how you add a reference. If you wanted to add an info box, there's lots of little templates in Wikipedia. I haven't looked at them all. I've experimented with some. Definitely like you can kind of like Google or like look in Wikipedia for help. It's a little tricky, but I think once you're really comfortable with editing, definitely something worth investigating. But I am in my Sandbox for Sarah. So I will add an info box and then you can go insert template and do a template search. Info box, there's lots of info boxes. So info box person, there's also like, you know, Olympic athletes and all sorts of interesting info boxes that have like a lot of their like accomplishments, or like if they're a politician, a lot of their like political positions, that type of thing. But we're just going to go stick with a regular info box. So Sarah Veselov. And then you can just see that I am adding stuff. On the left-hand side, you can, these are all the aspects that you can add to a person's info box. So really interesting stuff. Disappeared date, disappeared place. I don't really know where she's from. Let me see. I have a couple notes here. So there's occupations. You can search. And then it will populate the field once you have selected it. So I'll just add some stuff that I pre-typed out. And then there's one about notable works. So I'll add that too because she wrote a book. And then I'll hit insert. So here you see that she's got an info box now. A lot of people who don't have Wikipedia pages yet obviously won't have a picture associated with a Wikipedia page. I think the other thing is, like, if you are at a conference and see any of these awesome people, you can always ask to take their picture for their Wikipedia page. The only caveat is that, like, when you take a picture, you can't just pull a picture off the internet. It has to be a picture that you have taken and that you are relinquishing usage rights for. So it basically goes to the Creative Commons and means that, like, you know, you don't own it and can't get paid for that image. If it's being used, it's used freely. So a lot of times, you know, you can go to like Comic-Cons and stuff, people will take a picture and add it to a person's profile and just say they took this at like whatever Comic-Con. So you are welcome to do that if you get their permission to take their picture. I think they would be really excited that you were working on their Wikipedia page. So I will see Sarah at Converge in May, so I will take her picture then and upload it. And here's just like added info box. So really just like tiny edits, just like get comfortable. You don't have to do anything crazy. If you wanted to create a section, you could. Let's see. To create a section, that's as easy as going in, and it's very much like using Word or Google Docs. Let me just add a subheading or a heading. This could be test heading. And then publish changes. So if you wanted to add categories, you could do that as well. So let's see. Insert categories, I believe. Okay, add undocumented parameter. That sounds scary. So there's a lot of categories. Not exactly what I wanted to do. Let's see. Living people was a category. I might be doing this wrong. Okay, that's an that seems not like the right thing. Discard edits. So you can tell I'm not not a pro, but I think the best thing to do is, and this is why you work at a sandbox, but sometimes what I'll do is I will look at an actual thing that has a category and see what it's like and see what they have listed here. So categories, and I'll try to find that in Wikipedia. I wonder if it's smart and I can copy this. Maybe not. Maybe. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, this. I'll skip the categories thing, but I guess let's see. Yeah, working in the sandbox, and I think that's it in terms of like a demo. Does anyone have any other questions? Let's see, is there a way to know if editing suggestions have already been made to what you're changing? I think, yeah, like what Dan mentioned, that if you, as long as like you save the article that you're editing, or someone saves it, like you'll see the changes reflected. I don't think it's like a let me read this again. Is there a way to know if editing suggestions have already been made to what you're changing? I think the other thing is, like, if you see the edit in there, it's definitely in there. If people are working in the same spot as you, I feel like that might be rare. And this is definitely not like Google Docs where you can see and co-collaborate and co-edit at the same time. But usually, like with these coordinated efforts, if you want to say like here in the chat, hey, I'm working on Sarah's Wikipedia page, you know, don't start one or something, you can definitely do that if you want. If you so if you sign up, you can definitely say, hey, I'm working on these pages, or if you can go in here, you can put your name saying like, I'm working on Ginny Reddish's page. So that's one way of communicating to like not cross wires. Yeah, any other questions? Oh, and if you're not able to edit, it might be because of a VPN being set up. So that might be why people might be having trouble editing if you are having trouble. And I'll continue if people want to try editing pages. Happy to hang out, like use the rest of the time as a working session. We'll wrap up a couple of minutes before. But yeah, like feel free to let me know if you have any questions. And that's really it. So hopefully, I don't know, it feels like a manageable thing to do, despite how Wikipedia can seem really complicated. So I'm just going to keep showing some examples of like me editing this page. So let's see. So Sarah has, this is also really cool about Sarah. Sarah's like really awesome. Really awesome design system person, design leader. She also owns Your Turn, a board game cafe in Zephyr Hills, Florida, which she's got like a bajillion games with her husband, and she slings coffee on the weekends. And let's see. Okay, so this is just talking about her cafe in a newspaper. So that is, even though like I've already written about it because I know about this in real life, this just gives me an actual reference to use to verify and validate this information. So let's see, I can insert this. I might edit this and add like an author because it didn't pull that. See if it has an author. Doesn't look like it has an author. Maybe at the bottom of this. Okay. I'm assuming that Phyllis Day wrote this. Okay. Let me go back to source date when it was published. So it's just a matter of like going back and forth and kind of tidying this stuff up. And I don't know, maybe if you had like a long day and wanted to like, or maybe if you weren't having a productive day, you can always come here and edit some Wikipedia articles and feel productive. Let's see. Okay. Publish changes, added reference to her board game. Okay. Oh, and so because I didn't have a references section, it just kind of added this footnote at the bottom. So what I can do is I can go ahead and edit that and just like add a references section. Okay. Heading references, and it's starting to look like a real page. And I think so, yeah, definitely like a lot of women authors in tech don't have Wikipedia pages, but also I think just tech people in general, unless you're like, I don't know, Elon Musk or something, or Bill Gates, probably don't have Wikipedia pages. And we have a lot of like really awesome data scientists and data scientists, engineers, designers that don't have Wikipedia pages. So feel free to continue working on this project or adding pages that you know of. I think one other page I thought was really cool is that Hannah Schmitz is an engineer. She has a Wikipedia page in Dutch, so it's we can create an English version for her from this, and she's actually cited in quite a bit of articles. She is an engineer for the Red Bull racing team, and I'm not exactly sure what she does, but I think she calls the shots. Like F1 racing is a lot more than just putting your foot on the gas pedal and steering. It's a lot more complicated than that. So she's super cool. So this is her page in Dutch, and I think, you know, one of the things is just like it's easy to copy this, translate it in Google Translate, and then transfer it over to an English version to give her more prominence. And then I think if you go to all this, like, so I did a lot of Google searching and put a lot of references in so you don't have to. I try to like mark where there's small mentions or if it's a full article about the person or if it's a podcast. Not asking you to listen to the entire podcast interview, but you are welcome to if you want. Probably lots of good information. But there's usually a transcript with the podcast interview, so you can quickly skim that to see if you can glean any information. A small mention might be helpful because it can add credibility to an existing like statement in Wikipedia. So this one, usually I'll just, okay. So in this aspect, like for Whitney, you know, this just kind of just like I guess verifies that she is from Civic Design, which is the Center for Civic Design. So just to like add a validation that this is this is who she is and that she actually is from Civic Design. Wikipedia is always based on secondary references. So like first references would be like her website saying, oh, I'm from the Center for Civic Design. But if you have a publication that adds that mentions that, it adds credibility to that, because obviously for anyone's personal website, you can kind of say whatever you would like, whether it's true or not. So that's kind of how Wikipedia goes about validating and verifying things. Any other questions? Okay. You can also, I think the other thing is like, you are welcome to like, if you see their LinkedIn profile or see their personal website and find information, I think it's a great starting point, but you really want to then try to find a secondary source that validates what's being said here. So a lot of times, you know, I might see that in a bio at a conference or her book publisher's bio, there might be a reference to something, and I'm not sure I quite understand it. So I might go to like Sarah's LinkedIn page just to validate or get a better understanding to be able to then write about it. I'm going to add this external link. Let's see. Heading. And then the other thing is like, if you're not really sure what to put, you can always look at like, I don't know, famous other people's Wikipedia articles to see what they have and their formatting. Website. So go ahead and add that link. Then it knows it's an external site. It will make it, it'll add that little thing. So it tries to do a lot for you, which I think is really smart. And then if we had like other references, it will know to numerically footnote those, so you don't actually have to keep track of that. Because as you can see here, there's a lot of article reference numbers, and I didn't have to renumber them every time I added something. So that was really nice. So let's see, added official. I think, I don't know, like I try not to say like her personal page, like official website just seems more official. So I'll close this out. Let's see. In her book, there's like an ISBN number. You can also like Amazon is not really like a, I guess it's like a trusted source in the way that you can get book data from it versus like, I don't know, you're not grabbing information from reviews. So from here, you might want to say like, oh, okay, the ISBN number is this. So for Sarah's page, I can put in bibliography. Just add to this. ISBN. All right. Yeah, any other questions? If not, we can wrap up a little early. I will be sending out an email to everyone with the slide deck, with this page, with the recording as well. So you have it all if you want to share with your coworkers, if you want to get together with friends and work on this. It might be a fun way to get together and nerd out. I think this has become my new hobby, which I'm really excited about. But to like wrap things back up, just wanted to thank you for attending for sure. Even showing interest in editing Wikipedia, I think is really awesome, because we could always use more Wikipedians, which are the name of people who edit Wikipedia. I think, you know, as you saw, we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of people that don't have Wikipedia pages. Keep in mind the idea of embracing equity to really help narrow the gender gap on Wikipedia. Even if you make 1 to 2 edits, like typos and stuff, or 15 minutes of editing, that totally helps. You can see in the time that I did work on this as a working session, I got a couple of things done, you know, so it's really nice. You can reach out to us on our Slack channel, which is this shortcut here. We have a channel called Project Edit-a-thon if you ever have any questions or want to follow up. Like I said, again, this is recorded, so we'll send out reference links, the recording links if you want to share with friends. If you ever want to do a working session with me or keep me updated on status, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn. Yeah, and if that's it, we can wrap up a little early, and I definitely would love to hear if you edit more or share this with your friends or family. But yeah, thank you so much for attending, and it was great to have you all.